This is the next book in the series. This is the first part of gross anatomy. Gross anatomy consists of 3 books. One book is on upper and lower limbs. The second book is on head and neck, which includes neuroanatomy also. And the third book is on thorax and abdomen. In this book, what I have tried to give in this book is, the first point, some of the very popular books have given thorax and upper limb in one book, whereas abdomen and lower limb in one book. Whereas I had put upper limb and lower limb in one book. From there the difference starts. It is because there is no common pattern between thorax and upper limb. It is only the anatomical connection. Just because of the anatomical connection, if you include those both things in one book, that itself says that we are not going to explain anything, that we are not going to establish any patterns of anatomy. So upper limb and lower limb together have so many patterns. So if you understand one book, you can very easily understand the other limb also. That is why these 2 parts are started in one. Then coming to the cover pages. The cover pages itself are very distinct from many other books. Many other books, the cover page consists of skeletons, muscles, which are themselves dreadful, giving anatomy a very odd or a dangerous impression. Whereas I tried to put some beautiful pictures which gives a pleasant opinion of anatomy rather than a hard and difficult opinion of anatomy. Then, in the same way as I told before, I have given explanation of the anatomy and not just description. And in this explanation, if you start from the introduction to the limb, introduction to the lower limb, this introduction itself explains the whole lower limb in a gist, with which the student will get a complete understanding of the lower limb. Whereas in other books, they started with straight away into one particular region of the lower limb and then start describing every detail in that without giving an overall view of the limb. That itself makes anatomy not only difficult but also in a random way which carries no meaning. Whereas the main purpose of writing these books is to extract the meanings, to establish the patterns in anatomy. So after the introduction of the limb, we discussed the bones of the limb, and then after the bones we discussed each compartment, because the compartment concept carries so much meaning in anatomy, and in each compartment muscles are discussed, then vessels and nerves are discussed in brief relating to that particular region. Then at the end we give once again all the vessels in one part and all the nerves in one part, and finally we have completed that limb with the joints of the lower limb. So this is the method which we followed in contrast to all other books. And then one point which has to be established here is regarding the diagrams. The diagrams which were given in this book are one of the best diagrams we can reproduce, because the diagrams also should be very important. The quality of the paper should be very important. Everything has its own importance, so we have given the best diagrams possible. Then, throughout this series of books, we have given 2 types of diagrams. One type of diagrams are photographs, which cannot be reproduced by the student and need not be reproduced by the student. And another type of diagrams are line diagrams, which the author expects the students to practice and reproduce in the exams, which are quite easy. And all these diagrams are highly scientific diagrams, not just some diagram given here and there. So this is the specialty of the books. This makes the study of anatomy a very easy process, and that it can be retained for a very long time. I quite often in my classes I say one word. I'm not going to ask you about this particular topic in the next exam. Can you reproduce this after 10 years, after 20 years, which usually an anatomist cannot claim. But this is what you will get by studying this book. So this is my introduction to the gross anatomy book. Thank you.